A British fighter pilot is chasing an enemy plane at full throttle, and he's completely out of bullets. He doesn't break off. He doesn't turn away. He keeps his gun sight locked on the enemy's tail and bluffs, hoping the German pilot never realizes his guns have gone silent. This is May 23, 1940. The day pilot officer Alan Deer becomes the first Spitfire pilot in history to shoot down a Messerschmitt Bf 109, but that's not even the real story. The real story is what he does after that kill, flying back into danger not once but 3 separate times to save 2 stranded friends trapped behind the German advance. Stick around for the ammo bluff. It's one of the boldest things you'll see a pilot do in this entire war. Stranded behind enemy lines, a Spitfire limps toward a French airfield. Riddled with bullets, its pilot, squadron leader Francis Drogo White, fighting to keep it in the air. Bailing out means risking injury or capture. Landing means trusting a damaged aircraft at nearly stall speed. He chooses the airfield. He brings it down at 80 miles an hour, canopy open, breathing hard, and realizes he's now completely alone, deep in territory the German army is racing to occupy. His only shelter is a drainage ditch running along the perimeter fence. He radios his position and gets one promise back: "We'll get you home." Here's the problem nobody back at base has accounted for yet. The rescue plane they're sending has no guns, no radio, and no way to know what's waiting for it in the clouds. Flying blind into an ambush 2 Spitfires escort, an unarmed M9 master trainer across the channel, pilot officer Alan Deer, his wingman Johnny Allen, and Flight Lieutenant James Prof. Laird flying the rescue plane with an empty seat for White. The airfield is buried under thick, low cloud, perfect cover for waiting enemy fighters. Deer sends Allen up to 8,000 feet to watch for threats, then escorts Prof down toward the strip. White sees them coming and scrambles out of the ditch, waving both arms. Prof lands clean. For a moment, it looks like the hard part is over. Then a voice cuts through Deer's radio. 12 enemy aircraft inbound right now. Prof doesn't have a radio. He has no idea. He's still taxiing along the open runway, while a Messerschmitt Bf 109 breaks out of the clouds and lines up directly on his unarmed aircraft. The German pilot, Unteroffizier Heinz Gillard, opens fire on the defenseless trainer. Rounds tear up the grass on either side of it. He pulls up for a second pass, the one that would finish the job. He never gets the chance. Deer dives in behind him, guns blazing, forcing Gillard into a hard break. What follows is a turning fight, where Deer manages something most pilots in 1940 can't, pulling his Spitfire inside the tighter turning radius of the German fighter, closing the gap with every second. Right as he lines up the kill shot, his wingman's voice cracks over the radio. "Red One, I need help." Alan is fighting multiple German fighters alone, high above the clouds. Deer has a choice most pilots never have to make in real time: abandon this kill to help his friend, or finish what's below him first, with an unarmed trainer and a stranded pilot still exposed on the ground. "Roger. Red 2. Hang on, old boy, until I take down this German," he finishes it. Gillard's plane takes rounds through the fuselage and into the cockpit. The 109 keeps climbing on its own for a moment, its pilot already dead and before stalling. Flipping onto its back and dropping straight into the sea, Alan. Deer has just become the first Spitfire pilot in the E. What to shoot down a Bf 109, he doesn't have time to think about it. Silence on the radio. Deer calls for Alan. Nothing. But static. He heads back to check on White and Prof still sheltering in the ditch, still exposed, with German ground forces closing in by the hour. No sign of Alan anywhere below the clouds. He punches through the cloud layer alone, searching, and 2 more 109s burst out of the haze directly at him. He engages both solo out over open country. The first one goes down in flames, watched from the ground by White and Prof as a fireball erupts in the distance. 1 down. The second German pilot tries the oldest trick against a Spitfire, a negative G dive that the Spitfire's Merlin engine can't follow without stalling. Deer's answer is one only the most experienced pilots would risk: rolling the entire aircraft inverted mid-dive to keep fuel flowing to the engine. It costs him seconds. Dirt keeps him alive. He claws back the gap using emergency engine boost, pushed past the safety lever, straining the engine to its absolute limit, until the German fighter fills his gun sight one more time. He pulls the trigger, Nothing. He's completely out of ammunition. With an enemy fighter dead in his sights and no way to finish it. Most pilots would break off here. Deer doesn't. He stays locked onto the German's tail, matching every turn, every dodge, exactly like a pilot lining up a kill shot. It's a total bluff. There's nothing behind that gun sight but an empty ammo belt. It works. The German pilot weaves and jinks away from bullets that were never coming. But eventually he realizes what's actually happening. The Spitfire's guns have gone silent for a reason. He banks hard, and for one terrifying second, Deer has no defense left if the German decides to turn and fight. He doesn't. The German runs for his own lines instead. Back at the airfield, Prof and White finally climb out of the ditch, scramble into the M9 Master, and get airborne. No fighter escort needed anymore. Just open sky home. Deer returns to find the airfield empty except for White's abandoned, riddled Spitfire. His friends are already gone, safe. One thread is still hanging. Johnny Allen radio silent since the fight began. Red 2, come in. Red 2, are you reading? A voice finally answers. Allen shot down one of his own attackers, but his plane is badly hit and struggling to stay level. Deer finds him mid-channel, damaged but flying, and the two Spitfires limp home together, meeting up with the slower M9 Master carrying Prof and White. All 4 men making it back to England on the same afternoon. 1 rescue mission, 3 separate dogfights, a first-of-its-kind kill, and an empty gun bluff that could have gotten him killed if the enemy had called it. If you think that's as close as it gets, wait until you see the dogfight where a pilot survived with literally no engine left. That story's linked below.